Okay, so the statute, or one of the statutes that governs the bail release or detention, is going to be 18 USC 3142, and it's called release or detention of a defendant pending trial. Now, this is not the only statute or code that talks about releasing a person on bail. There's several of them. This is the one that I believe is going to apply to the R. Kelly, or R. Kelly in his situation. And basically, this statute starts off with four basic provisions. And if you go to the first section, 3142A, it has basically four components. The first component talks about releasing a person on their own recognizance. And then the second component, 3142A2, talks about releasing a person based off of some condition or combination of conditions, right? And then the third one, 3142.3, basically talks about revocation of a conditional release, deportation, so on and so forth. So three is basically going to be in a situation, to me, it seems like, where you've already been released or you might be released, and now they've had to come back and rethink that, right? So finally, the portion we want to get to is 3142A4, and basically it talks about detaining a person and refusing bail completely, right? So this is basically fully covered in section E. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. Basically, I went through this before, and if you want to see the video where I go through it, just search my YouTube page for R. Kelly and Bail. I forget the exact name of it. I think it's called Understanding the R. Kelly Bail, or actually it's called What It Means When R. Kelly is Denied of Bail, or something like that, right? So let's just go ahead and hop on down to E, section E. And again, I'm not going to go through all this. I've already covered it. You can go and watch an older video. Now, I do apologize. The older video may not be in the best quality, and the words are probably a little bit difficult to read. I'm sorry, the words on that video is going to be a little difficult to read, but the material for the most part is covered, right? The section that we're looking for is going to actually be E3E, and then you have to read number 3, and it basically says, subject to rebuttal by the person, it shall be presumed that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of the community if the judicial officer finds that there is probable cause to believe that the person committed an offense involving a minor victim. And then it lists the statutes that basically covers crimes involving minor victims, right? Now, basically, this is going to be it's going to be E3E. And basically, one of the reasons that the judge is not going to let R. Kelly go because the crime involves a minor, basically, right? And then if you scroll down, you'll see that there's an additional section that basically is going to make it difficult for R. Kelly to get bail, or did make it difficult for R. Kelly to get bail. And it basically talks about detention hearings. And then it says, F says, the judicial officer shall hold a hearing to determine whether condition or combination of conditions set forth in subsection C of this section will reasonably assure the appearance of such person as required and the safety of any other person and the community, right? And then if you go down to E in this section, it says any felony that is not otherwise a crime of violence that involves a minor victim or involves the possession of a use of firearm or destructive device, as those terms are defined in section 921, right? So then if you go down to section F2, right, and it says, upon the motion of the attorney for the government or upon judicial officer's own motion in the case that involves a serious a serious risk that such a person will flee, or B, a serious risk that such a person will obstruct or attempt to obstruct justice, or threaten or injure or intimidate or attempt to threaten, injure, or intimidate a prospective witness or juror, right? So that's essentially it, right? So the statute basically shackles the judge in this case to follow these guidelines, right? So you've already seen that if the alleged crime involves a minor, or it involves witness tampering, or it involves potential witness tampering, which is basically worded as a serious risk that such a person will obstruct or attempt to obstruct justice, so on and so forth. If it involves those two components, the judge actually has a duty to actually not grant bail in this situation, right? So there you have it. These are the conditions that had to be met in order for R. Kelly to basically be eligible for bail. And as you can see, if the crime involves minor children, then there's a higher standard. And if there's allegations of witness tampering, then there's a higher standard. And more than likely, the prosecutors argued. I didn't see the prosecutors' motions or hear their arguments, but if they allege some type of risk of witness tampering, so on and so forth, then the judge was going to deny them bail. Now, leave your questions and comments below. Let me know what you think on all of this. So obviously there's an outbreak in this situation, and I think what they were hoping for is that the outbreak would justify releasing R. Kelly on bail, but unfortunately, they're going to take the position, the prosecutor is going to take the position, and they're going to try to persuade the judge. The prosecutors made the argument, hey, he's a predator, and if you're going to let him out, you may as well let all the other convicted sexual predators out as well. You've already heard what the judge said in this case, right? So that's it. Leave your questions, comments below. Let me know what you think. Do you think R. Kelly should have got out on bail? Do you think they were right to keep him in jail?